my gosh. Is this what I think it is?
What's up, guys? It's been a minute. Nothing happened. I just got really busy, but now I'm back. I have a video. I think this will be a little bit of a shorter one for you guys. I'm reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth. I saw this movie in theaters, I guess it was a while ago now. I plan to make a video about it, but it intrigued me a lot, and so I have some things I want to say about it. Obviously, this is your guys' spoiler warning. If you guys haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this video yet. Go watch the movie, come back. I don't think you're missing out on much if you watch this video before. This is also your trigger warning, because I'm wearing a safari hat, because it's like, I don't know, dinosaurs. But continuity, probably going to change a lot, because I'm going to be shifting it and taking it off between takes. So here's your trigger warning for my hat, and your spoiler warning. Let's get going. So Jurassic World Rebirth is not a bad movie at all. I personally left the theater and I liked it. I was telling my friends that I thought it might be the best Jurassic World movie when I left. That was a hot take. I think it's cooled off a little bit. I think it's maybe number 2. I think Fallen Kingdom is much better, but I think it has a lot of good things going for it. So that's what I want to start with first is let's talk about the positives of Jurassic World Rebirth and what I really liked about it leaving the theater. So the first thing that I really liked about this movie, and this might be kind of a controversial thing, is I really liked the story. I think that the idea of them going to this museum and saying, here's 3 dinosaurs that we are going to chase throughout this movie, as opposed to in previous movies, it almost felt like they were on the island and the dinosaurs just kind of showed up, versus they're seeking out these particular dinosaurs because they want to take blood from them to research to maybe cure possible diseases. And they say, we want the dinosaurs with the biggest hearts, so they have like the healthiest hearts, so we can try and cure, I think, heart disease. And so they go after these 3 gigantic dinosaurs, and I think that's a really cool premise for a plot. They get these mercenaries, they go to the island, that's cool. I think the second storyline of the family who's crossing the ocean and gets lost on the island, I think it's weird to have 2 storylines going in the same movie, but I think it works. And I think it worked for them, even though it was kind of weird. It felt strange. Part of the reason that I think it worked is because I liked some of the characters, that I liked characters on both sides in both storylines, and so I think it works. I think that the way they meshed it together fits the story and allows for more interesting dinosaur encounters, which is really what you go into a Jurassic World movie wanting anyways. The second thing that I really liked about this movie was the dinosaur encounters. And this is the reason that I think it might be one of the best Jurassic World movies, is because the dinosaur encounters are so cool. The first encounter with the Mosasaurus and the Spinosaurus, with the multiple Spinosaurus and the Mosasaur? The scene with this dinosaur and the multiple Spinosaurus is one of the best in any Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movie that I've ever seen. We get this incredible chase with the Mosasaurus as it runs away and as it also attacks the boat, as they successfully get the blood from it. And just when they think that they've gotten off free, here comes the Mosasaurus working together with the Spinosaurus, because it's like this symbiotic relationship, which actually happens in nature. And me, like an animal nerd, that was one of the coolest things to see on film, is that is real and that they really put that in the movie. The scene with the T-Rex on the raft, we'll talk about the raft in a second, but the T-Rex in that scene was awesome. The fact that it had like a horror movie disappear moment almost, and then it was suddenly there. The scene where it's walking through the water as it sinks down, as the T-Rex swims, as it tries to chomp through the rock as they narrowly escape. That was awesome. That was cinema. I liked that a lot. And it also reminded me of a scene from the book the original Jurassic Park book. I read that. I'm not even gonna attempt to say its name. Maybe I will. The Coaxolot, the flying dinosaur, the big one, the giant one. That was one of the coolest encounters also. The scene where it sees one of the people on the side of the cliff and they quickly try and pull him back up as the bird thing crawls up after them. That's awesome scene. That was super cool. And especially when they think that they've freed their friend and they're finally pulling him up, and you see the rope start to slack as it comes up over the cliff, and then suddenly you see the giant dinosaur's neck raise up with the rope hanging out its mouth, and you realize, oh, he ate that person. And it's so awesome. It's so cool. Another notable dinosaur is the D-Rex and also the raptor thingies. The raptors serve the same purpose as the raptors in the originals, and they don't really do anything too interesting with them. They have the little quiet scene where they're sneaking around in like a convenience store and the raptors are slowly walking around stalking them, and they don't really do anything new with them, so that's not really too interesting. What is interesting is the D-Rex. It's this mutilated, genetically engineered T-Rex with 6 arms and legs. It has 2 legs and then 2 arms that are little and small, and then 2 that are big and can actually grab things. The D-Rex hunts differently than the T-Rex. It grabs things with its big arm and then eats them, which leads to some pretty horror movie-esque scenes where it reaches out and grabs people or dinosaurs and eats them. That's super awesome. So overall, I hope I've done it justice, but the dinosaur encounters in this movie are, I think, the best dinosaur encounters in the franchise, period. Another spot where I think this movie shines is in its characters, and I think that's a little bit of a controversial one. Now, it's been a little bit since I've seen the movie, so I don't remember all of their names perfectly, but honestly, I didn't catch most of them during the movie either. The only one I remember was Xavier. He was my favorite character. He was awesome, but I want to talk about him really quick. So, on the main crew, you have Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey. Scarlett Johansson pretty much she's like Black Widow in this movie. And it works for her. She's this very experienced, capable, hired gun, basically. And Jonathan Bailey's character is the opposite. He is a paleontologist and has never seen a dinosaur. He's never basically been outside of his museum that he works at. He is very unexperienced in a world where Scarlett Johansson is very experienced. And they play off of each other really well in that aspect. It leads to some very interesting character moments, and I like those. Okay, so I just Googled some of the character names because I didn't remember them. And honestly, I think some of you guys might agree with me, let me know if you don't. But I think you can watch this movie not know any of the character names and you just don't catch them, because this movie is very good about not focusing too much on the people and putting good focus on the dinosaurs, which is what you're here to watch, right? You want to see the people, you want to care about them, but you don't want to care about them too much because you don't want to waste time on this. You want to see more dinosaurs. That's why you paid money to come watch the movie. So Duncan is one of the characters. He's very much like Scarlett Johansson in this movie. He's capable. He's another one of the hired guns. And his characterization is that he had lost one of his children. It doesn't explain what exactly he did, but one of his children died, and it's his fault. And because of this, he's become estranged with his wife, and it's a talking point throughout the movie, and it leads to what could have been one of the best moments in the movie, but they kind of ruined it. I'll explain that later on. Another character on that side of the story is who kind of ends up being the villain of the story, and I don't remember his name, but he's the villain. He's the one who organizes everything together. He's carrying the briefcase with the dinosaur blood in it. At one point, he has a pretty cool scene where he finds a gun in a crashed helicopter on the island, and he grabs it for himself. And as you know, if you show a gun in the first act, you have to fire it by the third act, and they do fire the gun. And he serves as a villain. He's great. He gets eaten by a dinosaur, and that's about the role he serves. He progresses the plot in the way he needs to, and then when the story doesn't need him anymore, they get rid of him. Now, on the other side of the story, you have the family crossing the ocean that gets lost and joins up with our mercenaries. So among them, you have the dad. He's a good character. He's fine. He plays a father. He's worried about his kids. He's kind of in charge. He wants everything to go well. You have the teenage daughter who plays a teenage daughter. I think you can probably imagine exactly how she acts. You have the little girl, and she plays the innocent character who's going to walk around the jungle not realizing the danger she's in and then almost get eaten by a T-Rex. And then you have Xavier. He's the boyfriend to the teenage daughter, and he clashes with the father throughout the story and actually has really good growth. Like, I really liked that dynamic throughout the movie, because at the start, within the first 10 seconds that you meet him, you don't like him. You see exactly what the father sees. He's a bum, he's lazy. And throughout the story, you start to see more of what the teenage daughter sees in him, which is that he's willing to protect her. He's going to do all these things to help out. And yeah, he's going to say stupid one-liners, and he's going to sound stupid, and he's a teenage guy, but he means well, and by the end, he's earned the father's respect. He's kind of my favorite character. He's really funny. He made me laugh several times for things that honestly shouldn't have been as funny as they were, but I'm also a teenage guy, so it was funny. That about does it for the characters, besides I know somebody's gonna get mad if I don't mention the little stupid Triceratops thing. The child at one point finds a little baby dinosaur, and of course she's a kid, so she doesn't know anybody, so she picks it up, and it looks like a Triceratops, and it's kind of genetically engineered, so it's a little different. And they take it with them, and it has a name, and I don't remember its name, but it exists solely so that they can make plushies of it and sell them to other kids. But honestly, it worked. I cared about the stupid little dinosaur the whole time, and I was worried it was gonna die, so you know what? It worked for him. It was cute. I liked it. All right, now we're gonna get into some of the stuff that I know you guys will agree with me on, and that's the negative things about this movie. First off, let's talk about the stakes, and I don't mean ribeyes. That's just a stupid joke. So throughout the movie, characters are obviously placed in dangerous situations where dinosaurs are clawing at them, biting at them, and they have to run or escape, climb away, do whatever to escape these dinosaurs. Except you never worry for the characters that you know aren't gonna die. Now, obviously, going into this movie, we all knew Scarlett Johansson wasn't gonna die. Jonathan Bailey wasn't gonna die. The fact that I know their actor names and that they're the A-listers in this movie means obviously they're gonna live so that they can potentially make a sequel. However, if obviously we know that they're not gonna die, then don't throw Jonathan Bailey off of a cliff and then make him live by some stupid reason. This guy falls off of a cliff all the way down, straight drop, 200 feet, I don't know. And he lives, doesn't even break his glasses. It's like he's perfectly fine. These characters are placed in hot water, but it's never boiling. Us, as the audience, we are comfortable watching, knowing that the characters we care about, if we do care about them, they're gonna be fine. So there's no stakes to the movie at all. We're not worried about anyone in the family dying because we don't feel like any of them are ever in danger of dying. We don't worry about Scarlett Johansson because we know her name. We don't worry about Jonathan Bailey, even when they throw him off a cliff, because once he survived that, we know he's surviving the movie. But this leads me to the worst part about this movie, and that is Duncan's sacrifice. At one point in the movie, the D-Rex, it's this huge, terrifying monster, it's really good, is bearing down on the group. And the little girl screams, she's scared. And the D-Rex sees them, and Duncan, remember, has this characterization that they've been building throughout the movie, that his kid died, it was his fault, and he feels guilty, and that he feels there's no way to redeem himself. So you get these four things, and you've collected some Infinity Stones to make a really cool character sacrifice, and they start to do it. Duncan grabs onto a flare, lights it, waves it above his head, gets the D-Rex to follow him into the forest. It's this epic moment. It's lit by this red flare as the D-Rex looks at him. It looks terrifying. It's so cool. We see his face. He's scared, but he's resilient. He's staring at the D-Rex's face. And then we cut to our core group of people who are now safe on a boat away from the D-Rex, watching the flare in the jungle as it fades out, as Duncan heroically sacrifices his life. And then 20 seconds later, he fires off a flare from inside the jungle because somehow he escaped the T-Rex. Somehow he's alive. Somehow he shows up to return for a sequel. And it's so unsatisfying. Because if you're gonna set up all these beats to make us now in this moment say, yes, that's a good sacrifice for this character to make, and then not follow through with it, leaves a sour taste in our mouth. Now, it does make sense that you would want some of these characters to return for the sequels. Like, obviously, we knew Scarlett Johansson wasn't gonna die because she's the face of the movie. There's likely gonna be a sequel. She's likely gonna be the face of that movie. But a character like Duncan was a good character, would have been a great character if they'd sacrificed him like that. Because that tells us that this movie franchise is willing to sacrifice some main characters for a really good plot line. It would have been so good, but it wasn't. And that's the movie we were left with. I said earlier, it's really hard to talk and breathe in that. I said earlier I was gonna talk about the raft. In the scene with the T-Rex, they're in this inflatable raft. And it's like a balloon, right? A little sturdier. But at one point the T-Rex bites it and you think, oh, obviously it's gonna pop. Raft is gone, what are they gonna do now? And then they all make it to safety, and we're like, great, but now they're in this river, what are they gonna do? Here pops out this raft that they were on, that this T-Rex bit. I turned to my friend in the theater and I said, that's a good quality raft right there. Whatever they paid for that, worth it. It should have popped, and it was kind of unsatisfying that it didn't. It's just, that's one of the big examples, that and Duncan's sacrifice, of moments in this movie where they did something because it looked cool and then didn't allow it to have any consequences. The movie doesn't have stakes because they don't allow any of the actions that they perform to have consequences. Jonathan Bailey, thrown off a cliff, he's fine, doesn't break his glasses. Duncan, about to make a really cool sacrifice, he ducked out at the last second, survived. These characters had to jump off their raft in this ravaging river to escape a T-Rex. We'll just give them the raft back. It's all right. It was a cool moment, but now we need them to have this for plot reasons. So it just shows some lazy writing, some lazy screenwriting, and I hope that it's not a trend for the series going forward. In conclusion, I liked the movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was good. I think Fallen Kingdom is better, but I think if this is the first movie in a series of movies, I think they are setting up for something good. I think Scarlett Johansson was strong in the movie. I think her and Jonathan Bailey have great chemistry. If you know about them off screen, obviously they have great chemistry. But I like the movie, and I think that's what really matters. I think if they can continue having dinosaur encounters as good as what they were, continue having characters that we care about but that aren't focused on too much for the sake of enjoying the dinosaurs, I think that's a good thing. I think if they can increase the stakes as well as put the characters in real danger where we do fear for their lives, I think that they can create a successful Jurassic World franchise. Again. Now, do I really think that we need another Jurassic World franchise? No. I don't want to be going to the theater in 20 years to watch Toy Story 28 or Avengers 47. But I do think that of those movies that are created nowadays, this was a good one. And I'll stand by that opinion. Let me know if you guys disagree in the comments. What's up, guys? Welcome to the editing couch, which is also now the recording couch because they took my other couch. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I just got busy with school stuff, but I'm back now. I'll make another video in about a week. Until then, I hope this one was good. I hope you enjoyed it. My uploads are probably going to be pretty infrequent, just like this. So the best way to stay up to date with them, if you're wanting to do that, is to subscribe and hit notifications so that you know when I'm posting. Hope you like this video. Let me know which hat was your guys' favorite. And I'll see you all in the next one. God bless.